everybody, and welcome to Ladies' Night. I see YouTube isn't finally on. So, anyway, everyone, please excuse me tonight because Bethany is not exactly on top 100. There is a reason. Tonight, we're going to talk about doctors, stress, and basically anything else you girls want to talk about. And I think the reason that I have this cold is because of stress. Anyway, just to make a long story short, this weekend, I ended up having to fly, of course, maybe at a flight attendant, and I ended up having not one but two medicals on my flight. and anyway, so I got stressed out this week, and I do believe that that's probably why I've caught a cold or stress cold, whatever you want to call this. But anyway, oh hey Shelby, hey Leah. As soon as I see y'all come on, I try to tell y'all hello. But anyway, so yeah, tonight we're gonna talk about doctors. We're gonna talk about stress. We're gonna talk about any and everything you girls want to talk about tonight. And like I said, please pardon everything going on here. I'm gonna do the best I can. So first off, when it comes to doctors, let's talk about that first. I've noticed some in the groups lately. A lot of girls have had some stress dealing with doctors who possibly don't know that much about TS. And for all of us, we pretty much know that that's a common thing. Oh, excuse me. Molly, hey, 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 hey. Like I said, please excuse me. But yeah, so a lot of doctors, unfortunately, like I said, we deal with this a lot, don't know what TS is. And we have to tell a lot of doctors, at least this has happened to me a lot. I've had to explain TS to doctors. I've gotten the question, oh, is it... I seriously had this question from a doctor one time. They asked me if TS was like Down syndrome. No. Like Down syndrome, we're talking about an extra chromosome. And, you know, TS, we're talking about missing a chromosome. Big difference there. So, okay, it looks like Facebook is trying to reconnect. Unfortunately, this weather is not the best right now. Okay, Facebook, you're back. Yeah, unfortunately, I am in New Jersey with all this crazy weather. That could also be a reason why I'm not feeling well. But thankfully, the worst of it is over. So, but anyway, so yeah, I've seriously had a doctor ask me that. You know, and I've said this before. I can deal with a doctor who says something like this. Okay, I'm not familiar with TS, but can we schedule another appointment? Let me do some research, and I can schedule you for another appointment next week, and we can get back on this. I could work with a doctor like that. What I don't like working with is with doctors who don't exactly... Oh, Faith. Hey, hey, Bethany, how are you? I'm good. A little bit. But hey, Faith. Molly, yes, big difference. Exactly. Big difference. And so my thing is, excuse me. But yes, as I said, I could deal with a doctor like that. Like that'll say, hey, let me do the research. I don't like dealing with doctors who think that they know everything when they know that they don't. And doctors like that can hurt people. But at the same time, let's keep in mind that not every doctor, has that kind of attitude, I guess you could say. And doctors really are there to help us. And they are, excuse me, they are trained medical professionals. I can't expect them to remember every sentence of every book that they ever read. And I think all of us can agree on that. But like I said, there's a difference between that and, a doctor who will actually work with you, listen to you. Okay, let me do some research on these symptoms and Turner syndrome. Let me, and not everything that happens to us is because of Turner syndrome. A lot of it is because of Turner syndrome, but not everything is. So that's something else to be, to keep in mind. And So, Molly, yes, and they treat you like you don't know anything. Sometimes, yeah, there are some doctors who have done that to me, and I know I'm not the only one. So it's unfortunately one of those things, and I wish that more of us were taken seriously. But also, like I said earlier, that's not every doctor. Heather Valentine, hey girl, hey, 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 hey. So anyway, that's not every doctor. So I really don't want to lump them into one category. But it does seem to happen a lot to us TS girls. I really don't have an answer as to why that happens. Um, I think that it's not just TS. I think a lot of doctors maybe are either overworked or something like that. Who knows? And move on. Like I have bad knees because of decades of dancing, not TS. Exactly. I probably have osteopenia, partly because of TS, but also members of my family don't exactly have the best bone health. So, yeah, maybe TS and my family history has caused me to have osteopenia. It's not just TS. So, I'm sorry, girls. So, it's something that you need to look at, and that's why I tell a lot of girls sometimes when they ask me different medical questions, I always say seek medical advice, first off. Second off, research whatever the issue is, like heart issues and TS, or if you have hearing loss and TS, whatever is happening to you at that moment, look that up and TS, and look just that single issue up, if that makes sense. Um, like if you have scoliosis, look up TS and scoliosis, and then just scoliosis. Something along those lines. Um, so now let's get to stress. Because I think a lot of us, Shelby, I like that, oh, your other kids don't have this disease, or there's nothing wrong with the other two. With this crazy OMG look on their face. Exactly. I've had doctors do that too. Like, oh, what about your brothers and sisters? And I'll say they're fine, like they're normal. I'm sorry, girls. I know that this is disgusting. Yeah, I hate it when they do that because they're like, oh, okay, well, how did that happen? Well, gee, excuse me. It's called genetics. It just happens. Um. So anyway, but yeah, it, I know that everybody. It's not just doctors. Like people in every profession can either have good customer service skills or not good customer service skills, or in the medical profession, I guess it's bedside manner. Um, but I think what it is in general. Oh my god. Excuse me. Anyway, but I think a lot of it is just maybe just not knowing much about it. So I don't know if it's an insecurity thing because sometimes I don't even like talking about a lot of issues that I'm not fully aware of. But at the same time, I don't have a problem with saying I don't know the answer. And I think that there's a lot of people who have a problem with saying I don't know the answer. And maybe that's what the problem is with a lot of these doctors. Is that they just don't like knowing. Marina, hey, hey. So that could be part of it. Um, but yeah. So now let's talk about stress. I think a lot of us need to work on, and I don't think it's just TS women. I think it's everybody in the world. Stress management, because I had a grandmother who used to say, can't complain, don't do no good anyway. I don't know if y'all have ever heard anything like that. But the thing is that a lot of the stuff that happens to us, like what happened this past weekend, I can't really talk about it on the internet, but basically what happened was is I was on a flight. There was two medicals, so of course I had to Don Hennessy. I hate stress. Me too. Anyway, so I had to do medical incident reports. I had to deal with, all the things that come with that. So it got a little stressful. And, I think all of us need to learn, you know, excuse me. All of us need to learn, me especially. Some things are just out of our hands. Things happen, and, there's not really anything you can do about the past. Molly Gardner. Stress is very hard to manage at times. Hate it. Leah Jones. We all present TS differently than the unique butterflies we are. Yeah. April. Stress is everywhere. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming. No matter how hard you try to overcome it. Exactly. No matter how hard you try to overcome it, it just happens. Stress comes in our life, whether it's moving, getting a new job, starting a new relationship, buying a new house, buying a new car, a lot of things like that. Going, starting college. I stress too easy, and I guess it's part of anxiety. It could be. I feel like a lot of stress, I do believe, comes from anxiety. Like, if you have a upcoming test, or you have, something you really just don't know how to deal with at the moment, I feel like that could cause a lot of stress. Okay, sorry, I thought I saw another comment. But, I've learned how to just, I think it's hard, but sometimes we just need to learn to take things as they come, if that makes sense. Like the saying, water off a duck's back. Because some things you just can't, it happens, you deal with it, and you move on. If you sit there and you think about it, there's nothing really you can do to change the past. It's really beating a dead horse, as they say. Beating a dead horse, as they say. So, I want to encourage everybody to let it just roll off your back. Water off the duck's back. Don Hennessy. Yep. Yeah. Sorry, like I said, I'm dealing with all this. I don't know if it's a sore throat, cold, all the above. But I know it sounds bad. So anyway, anything else you girls want to talk about tonight? Anything related to TS? Maybe tell a story, something that happened this week. Or maybe you just have a question. Let me know in the comments if you want me to bring you on. Say something. Just tell me to bring you on. You have something you want to say or a question to ask. And I'll be more than happy to bring you on. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Anyway, other than that, if we want to talk some more about doctors and stress, should we say, it can be stressful getting new doctors. When you get to a new area, setting up new doctors, because you've gotten used to your older doctors that you've dealt with maybe for years, or maybe they've seen you for a while. Marina, I was under a lot of stress at my last job. Well, depending on your job, I think anybody with any job, there's always going to be some sort of stress. April, I just found out I have arthritis. Gotta love getting old. Girl. Marina, my coworker thinks that it was that stress that caused my leukemia. Cassidy, hey Bethany, hey girl. Kelly Smock, indeed. And April, come on girl, you ain't old. Me and you have already talked about that. So, Molly, I'll come on. All right, girl, hold on just a second. And, oh. Okay, Molly, you might need to update your app or something. It's saying that I can't bring you on. But, oh yeah, and Kelly says, and finding one who knows TS. Exactly. That is almost near to impossible to find. Because, not too many doctors deal with girls with TS. It's not something that they deal with every day. More doctors know about diseases like diabetes or arthritis or like Down syndrome or there's other stuff that doctors are more familiar with, if I can say that correctly, doctors are more familiar with. And TS is one of those things that they are less familiar with because they don't see it that often, if that makes sense. So that's, I mean, unfortunately, it is kind of the nature of the beast, so to speak, as they say. I mean, it's not exactly what we want to hear. You know, that's why we need more awareness. That's why we need more information out there about TS. Because of that, so that way more doctors can get informed and be able to treat us. Faith, I have found that my care was pretty good in my childhood, not so much when I reached my teen adult years. Now, my friend Angie, y'all saw her a couple of weeks ago. Angie and I have actually talked about that. Care actually is better for younger people with TS than it is for older people with TS. And the reason for that is women with TS, in the beginning didn't have that good of a life expectancy. And now in the future, medicine has advanced and everything else. And so now women with TS are living longer. And there's actually more women with TS now than there were before. So that's why care for younger women with TS has been better than for older women with TS. It's something that, I'm not going to say it's a new frontier or a new horizon, whatever you want to call it. But it's one that, doctors are working on, because the longer that TS women are living, they're able to study more things, if that makes sense. Amy, I'll come on another time and talk about how I handled this stressful situation at work. Oh yeah, girl. I feel sorry for you because you and I talked about that. Faith, I feel there is also more research for TS children. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. There's been more research on younger women with TS than there has been with older TS. Amy, also not much data on aging in TS. Exactly. That's what I was talking about with Angie. Unfortunately, there just hasn't been that much research on older women and TS because of that. BB, I hope and pray to God and Jesus Christ that we get rid of all the okay. BB, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm not 100% sure. Okay, that is uh Yeah. So, saying things like that, uh, will get you deleted off of my YouTube channel. So, yeah. Yeah. Um, Amy, how medical needs change with age. Yes. So, yeah. Sorry, Facebook. Y'all didn't get to read this comment that was just on YouTube. I wish I could see my doctors I had as a child. Yeah, see, there you go. Sorry, that comment just kind of. Basically, I just had to ban somebody off of YouTube because they decided to say that people with disabilities and things like TS are karma from the universe. So, yeah, that will get you deleted off my YouTube channel. And no, it's not karma to the universe. And no, I don't believe TS is punishment from God or other genetic defects. You know, sorry, but have a good day. Have a good life. Don Hennessy, what happened? Can't see anything. Anyway, it was on YouTube, not Facebook. I even looked up my pediatric endo a few years ago as I was entering early menopause. Um, yeah, so I had the same issue, like going into early menopause, that sort of thing. Um, and or I was about to enter it. The doctors actually changed my medication, so therefore they were able to up it. Cassie, I'm not a teenager anymore, but what's your advice for teenage girls with TS that have low esteem and deal with bullying about their height? It has been really tough during the teenage years. So I think it is rough. Kelly Smock, as a friend with CP, said God has a. Wow. Uh, Hold on. Sorry. Yeah, God has His reasons for everything. Okay, so Cassidy, what I would say to girls with TS who are teenagers, um, my teenage years were a little bit different than a lot of other girls with TS. Their teenage years. God created us all unique and has a special purpose for each one of us. Love you for you. Exactly. Um, the advice that I would love to give to teenage TS girls is, you know, well, guys like short girls, they do. So that's one piece of advice. Second piece of advice, there is nothing wrong with you. And yeah, your teenage years are going to be, first off, any teenager, your hormones go all over the place. You'll have, even if you don't have TS, sometimes you can have low self esteem just for different reasons. When I was a teenager, of course, I didn't know I had TS till I was 15 because my parents didn't tell me till I was 15. But thankfully, I had an older sister who kind of helped me get through that, so to speak, finding out that I had TS. Um, I knew that I was different just because I looked at my other friends. Excuse me. I looked at, my other female friends, my cousins, my sisters. And, I knew that I didn't look like them. But I would also say don't judge. Don't judge who you are based on somebody else. Being short makes it easier to reach lower cabinets and the tall people can't get to it. Yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, everybody's different, and I think that We need to celebrate those uniquenesses. Excuse me. But I know there's some TS girls that could be bullied because of their height, because of um, many different other reasons. Molly. Okay, app updated, LOL. Alright, I'll get to you in just a second. But, you know, I think a lot of girls deal with like anxiety or depression because of the way we are. And I know that I was depressed because I felt that, yeah, A, I was different. But B, I also, a lot of people who know me personally, or if you've heard my story, you know that when I was 16, I lost my older sister. I was really depressed, and when I was 16, I basically spent my entire 16th year being so depressed I was suicidal because I lost my sister. She was my life. She was my biggest, she'll be my biggest role model for life. She was just my rock. Somebody that I could talk to when I needed it. And she never judged, you know, I felt like she never judged me and that she understood me. You know, a lot of us, I feel like, are misunderstood. So, yeah, you know, it gets a little, and when you're a teenager and all those hormones that come with being a teenager, and kids are kids, and they will be malicious, they'll be vindictive, you know, all I can say is hate is gonna hate. And the best of what kind of got me out of my funk and depression and everything, um, was I sat there and I figured out, you know, my older sister once said to me, you know, if something ever happened to me, that she told me if anything ever happened to her, sorry, if anything ever happened to her, she wanted us to just, you know, move on and be happy. And, you know, that kind of helped me out. But the thing is that if you sit there and think about what everybody else, if you sit there and care about what everybody else thinks about you, sorry if I can get my thoughts together tonight. You know, you're always going to be stuck in the past and you can't move forward. So my best advice would be, let the haters hate. Don't worry about what folks are going to talk about you. Folks are going to talk about you to the day you die. There ain't nothing you can do about it. You can only do what you can do. And that's the thing. The only words that should affect your mood are your own. And if you sit there in the morning, you know, I want everybody, if you're a teenager, you should spend every morning before you go to school, before you go to, you know, if you're old enough to have a job, you know, whatever. Before you do anything, you should sit there in the mirror and give yourself a pep talk. You know, you're the best. You're going to have a good day. You're beautiful, because everybody's beautiful. Beauty comes from the inside. It's not the outside. Yeah, a lot of people talk about like, oh, she's a tall, you know, she's a tall, beautiful model, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But even some of those girls, Faith, wow, I really needed to hear that, Bethany. Thanks. You're welcome. You know, there's girls who are can I speak tonight? There are girls who we think should be like supermodels. They're beautiful. They're tall. That, you know, long hair, whatever. And I have this cousin. Perfect example. I have a cousin she's like 5'9", weighs 110 pounds. She has this long shoulder length hair, you know, shoulder length hair, long hair, and just drop dead gorgeous. She thinks that she has the worst hair of all times. She calls herself scrawny. She sits there and she'll joke about how, you know, her nose, or, you know, oh, I need to get this fixed, that fixed, whatever. Bethany, God is always there for you and loves you. Don't forget that God has a plan for your life, and you have a purpose for being here. That's for all other TS butterflies as well. Well, thank you, Cassidy. But yeah, so it's just one of those things. We're our own worst critic, and you got to get, it's that inner saboteur that I like to call it, inner saboteur. You got to get rid of that inner saboteur and move on with your life, you know? It'll make you happier. Okay, so... Oh, no. Okay, Molly, it's still telling me that I can't bring you on camera. Unfortunately. Excuse me. But anyway, but that's what I would say to any teenage butterfly. Is, you know, embrace your uniqueness. You're you. Don't let anybody knock you down. And let the haters hate. Let the naysayers say what they're going to say. So, Molly, oh well, it's okay. I know, I'm sorry. I wish I could bring you on. I don't know why it's telling me that I can't bring you on camera, but it's just saying that I can't bring you on camera. April, people only talk bad because they're jealous. Exactly. What's that saying? They hate us because they ain't us.